good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into the Hornet Sports Network. Travis Jerome now joined by head coach Donald Eley. And coach, exciting day, finally got here, National Signing Day 2018. Big day for you yesterday with the announcement of our new coaches on staff.
Well, the last 48 hours has been great for our program. We had the opportunity to announce our coaches yesterday. Today we was able to sign about 16, 17 young men to fit those attrition needs that we had with the vacant spots from graduation. So, we're really looking forward to the upcoming season, and now it's time to move into, the current players that's on the team for their evaluation and getting used to the systems that we plan to run offense, defense, and special teams.
Before we talk about the guys that you brought in, let's talk about the coaches you brought in, especially your three full-time guys. You went back to somebody who's been there with you before, Coach Roderick Plummer. Brought him in from Florida A&M, one of the best special teams coaches in the country. Talk about what he can do for you on the special teams.
Well, anytime that you're coaching, you always, you like to have guys that's familiar. So Coach Plum and I had the opportunity to win 2 championships down at Hampton University back in '97, '98, and was part of a national championship there. So we had history from following his career. He's following mine and watching the things that he's been able to do. I knew that our program could benefit from having a sound guy on the special teams as we move the program forward.
And then you brought 2 other guys in that came with the Troy background, with the offensive background as well, Justin Cowan and Jock Robinson. Talk about those 2 guys.
Well, offensively was our Achilles heel last year and the year before. Some had a lot to do with Coach Orlando, who took ill on us last season, but a lot had to do with just the consistency of a system. When you look at the playoffs and you look into the bowl games and you see the offenses that teams are running, they're running a system, and they have a certain system that these guys are all familiar with and a part of. So a lot of the research has been previously done by Howell Mummy and Mike Leach, and they have those people to be able to call to help them with what they're doing. So we wanted to be able to try to run that system here at Alabama State, so we wanted to hire coaches that were familiar with it and that could benefit from the research that they've previously had from other places.
Before we talk about some other guys you added, you brought up Coach Orlando. How comfortable now offensively are you with him being back in the fold?
Well, you can't beat 40 years of experience, so what we've been able to do is get a bunch of young coaches, and Coach Orlando and myself will coach the coaches. Whenever you have a guy that has been battle tested, he understands how to build from a foundation. And so now we'll take that wealth of knowledge that he has and put it with the experience and the energy that these young folks have, and we'll go ahead and create a good offensive nucleus with Coach Orlando leading them.
You talk about coaching the coaches. Now let's talk a little bit about 4 other guys you brought in, quality control coaches, and one's going to stick out with Alabama State alumni.
Well, we were top heavy, and what I mean by top heavy, we had a bunch of coaches, but we didn't have anybody doing the grind work, the grit. So I wanted to bring in guys that we could teach how to become coaches, and they could be stewards or understudies, and they could do the study hall, they could do the film breakdown, and now allow coaches more time to really focus on actual coaching. So we were able to bring 4 or 5 guys in for that particular position, and they'll definitely do us a great benefit in our preparation.
A lot of people think National Signing Day is coaches hit the road, they come in, they get the guys assigned. There's a lot of legwork that goes into it, and I got to see it firsthand. And talk a little bit about that legwork that goes into being able to get kids here, get kids to sign, get kids to commit to Alabama State.
Well, like I tell the guys, it's mainly from the car to the couch. I mean, we've sat on a lot of couches and made a lot of promises about what we'll do in the development of their young men if they, allowed us to coach them, and to be able to go into homes and say what we're able to do, for them when it comes to their overall development, their education, nurturing, and things of that nature. And it seems like a broken record, because every home you have to start over and represent and represent. So, after we've continued to present what we have here, now you win some and you lose some, as you saw today.
What's the worst point of National? Is it National Signing Day actually sitting there waiting on the scholarship papers to come in, the NLIs, or is it having to figure out where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, and then who you're going to go after?
Well, you know, we had a lot of commits that backed out on us today, and a lot had to do with not anything to do with Alabama State. It had to do with the 48 hours around Montgomery. Anytime you get 4 students, you know, and with 2 ending in casualties or death, and they all young folks, you know, that kind of deter people from wanting to stay at home. So we knew that, you know, the shootings and things of that nature around the young folks that we were recruiting locally would play an effect, and as you can see, it did. But the key with the whole signing day is that back in the day, a man word meant something, and today, you know, you get the word, okay, coach, I'm coming, and then all of a sudden it's something totally different. So what we've done is, we make sure that we extend ourselves where we had 17 scholarships, but we offered 23 young men with the understanding that, you know, with everything is 5% deviation. So of that 23, we get 16 back. So that put us right back in the wheelhouse with the ones that we could help.
And you filled a bunch of those needs. You lost a lot of guys defensively. Let's start on that side of the ball. A lot of guys left defensively. You were able to go out and bring a bunch of guys in, a little heavy on the defensive line. Talk about the work of Coach Eley and those defensive coaches.
Well, you finish first in the conference. We lose a Grady Brown to Louisville. But we have 2 guys over there, and Coach Eley and Coach Creamer, who could be defense coordinators at anybody's staff. And Coach Amp Campbell, he does a great job with that back end with the secondary. So we didn't have to rush out and get anyone. But we needed the players to get out there to line down to make those plays. You lose guys defense on the defensive line, in the linebacker core, in the back end. So what we wanted to do is go out and not overpopulate ourselves with junior colleges for the quick fix. We wanted some longevity. So we went out and got a lot of great high school guys that will be able to step in and hold the line for us.
And then we switched the ball a little bit to special teams, and we'll come back to defense a little bit. You lost a key cog in your special teams, and that was your punter, Trevor Vincent. Went out and filled that void with a couple of guys, and then also got some returning. So special teams now with a new special teams coordinator and Coach Plummer and some new guys coming in there.
Well, again, Trevor Vincent is, one of the greatest young men you'll ever be around, and we definitely going to miss him. All-conference punter, did a great job with kickoff, and one of the things that we have to do it was to get out and find some guys that we didn't lose or take a step back. So we was able to go out and get 2 punters, guys that can punt and kick off as well. With the way that we have our program set, where our young men get to go to summer school and basically go to school year round, we were able to create another scholarship in that position because we have our long snapper, Dylan, who's graduating in December. So now they gave us an opportunity to share his scholarship with another kicker who also had a 32 on the ACT, which now come in on honors, and he'll be the guy that's sitting in the wings as we, move our program forward.
And then offensively, and then we'll talk more about the team, but offensively, you really hit the offensive line a little bit and filled some key holes that you had to fill there with some new coaches on that side of the ball as well.
Well, Justin Cowan is, again, a part of the system. He has a lot of energy, brings a wealth of experience and knowledge about the system that we're planning on running, but we had to replace some guys that have played and contributed a lot to the offensive side of the ball with Sam Baptiste and those guys. So, we wanted to get, some size and some athleticism, and we was able to go out and get some, as I say, some bigums that's really going to help us down the road.
This is not your first national sign day as a head coach, but it's your first national sign day at Alabama State. What was the difference at Morgan State and Alabama State? And that there may not be any difference, but just now from then till now. Well,
it's a lot of difference. Quite naturally, the region. When you're in Alabama and you're 2 hours from Georgia, you 3 hours, 2 hours from Florida. You're right here in the Mecca of football. You're at as we call it, the Bible Belt of football. So the level of athletes that we had to go out to get, or out of state to get at Maryland, they reside right here in the state of Alabama. Now, with being able to have been a head coach for so long and have, people that know what you do with young men, now I don't have to prove anything. It's already proven. So former players are sending me players. Young men whose sons are now coming. So it's a lot different. As they say, sweet as the years go by, is just a benefit to be here at Alabama State with all the resources they have, and to have the experience that I have. It should turn out to be a great marriage here.
We talked a little bit about the size of the ball, the attrition. We talked about what it is leading up to signing day. The day of signing day in the room, the kids start coming in. The demeanor of everybody in the room changes. Everybody gets excited. Coaches that recruited the kids get excited. What does that mean to those guys when they actually get the paper that comes in?
Well, it's called finish. When you spend as much as you spent in calling young men, texting, email, going to visit, in and out of cars, going to watch the games, it's a lot of investment. Not only does the coach make, but the university make. For every young man that we bring into this program, we've spent $8,000 to $10,000 in just the whole chase of the opportunity to go see him, but more importantly, the opportunity to bring him here to see what we have to offer. So no one wants to waste money. So when you have those scholarships go out and what has gone into it, it's refreshing to see that your work is paying off.
Deviating a little bit off National Signing Day, and I heard you talk about this a little bit about a week ago with Emory Hunt from Football Game Plan. It's car to couch when you recruit, but for you, it's more than just football.
Oh yeah, I mean, for those that want to play football and just want to benefit from football, they probably don't want to come across me, because my biggest thing is that I want to make men. I want to use the game to make our young men better on the academia side, but more importantly, I want to use football as an opportunity for young guys that wouldn't get educations to give them a chance to get an education, and also give them a chance to get some character, to be around some great men, which is very extinct in our community.
Tonight, we're going to talk more in depth about each individual player. Each coach will get up and talk. We're not going to do that here, but tonight's party, tonight's bash, tonight's press conference, talk about what the expectations are, what you're most looking forward to be able to talk about each individual kid, because it's going to take some time to talk about the entire class. Well,
I won't talk about the entire class, because if he's offensively, he came to play for Mark Orlando through me. If he's defensive, he came to play for Coach Eley through me. If he's special team, he came to play for Coach Plummer through me. None of this work is individual. It's not myself. So I would allow them to talk about the people that they're recruiting to play their system. Mm-hmm. The finished product of the overall purpose and what we plan on doing as a program, that's my deal. But when it comes to each individual, they had the opportunity to go out and recruit the players that they wanted for their system. So, and in Montgomery, we want this to be Montgomery's team, as it should be. So the reason we have the party and we have a recruiting bash, because in Montgomery, it's not a sit down and be plastic. It's a let's jam and have some conversation.
From moving on to that, your next thing after signing day, these kids are going to come in the summer as soon as they graduate high school. Mm-hmm. What's the plan moving forward as we get ready to move into 2018?
Now we have to assess the young men that's in the program. We have to give them every opportunity to get better than what they were last year, but we have to give them the opportunity to show us what we can depend and what we can count on seeing from them next season. Again, scholarships are 1 year renewable. And so guys have to go out and earn the keep.
Now that signing day's over, can you take a breath, or do you start looking forward to 2019?
Well, I mean, you have to, every time you have to schedule breaks. Our coaching staff, I told them they're going to be off until Monday. I'm going to go up and see my son. He's in college, so I got to go check on him and make sure, the horse ain't out the barn up there, and then get on back here and make sure our horses stay in as well.
Well, Coach, tonight we look forward to the signing day party. Signing day bash is what we'll refer to it at. Doors open at 5:30. Actual program's going to start at 7. We'll get up and introduce each coordinator, have those coordinators talk about those players, and then we'll top it off with you on the podium again at the end of the night.
Hey, why not me?
Coach, we appreciate your time, and we appreciate everybody tuning into the Hornet Sports Network. Until next time, see you then.